Hey everyone, it's Tyler, the Antenna Man. The National Association of Broadcasters is petitioning the FCC to shut down the current over-the-air TV standard, ATSC 1.0, as early as 2028 to transition to ATSC 3.0. In this video, I'll discuss the proposal and how it may impact the future of free over-the-air TV. For those of you unfamiliar with the technical terms, ATSC 1.0 is the current over-the-air TV standard that most TV stations in the United States use to broadcast their channel free over-the-air. If you use an antenna to pick up local channels like ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox, you are likely picking up an ATSC 1.0 signal. ATSC 3.0, also known as Next Gen TV, is a next-generation over-the-air TV standard that offers improvements to the current standard, including better reception and picture quality, but comes with some major trade-offs that I'll explain a bit later in this video. Last week, the National Association of Broadcasters, which is basically a lobby organization for large broadcast groups that own local TV stations, filed a petition with the FCC to shut down the current over-the-air TV standard, ATSC 1.0, in the top 55 markets by 2028 and all remaining markets by 2030, just 3 and 5 years away. In addition, the NAB wants the FCC to require all TVs sold in the United States to include ATSC 3.0 tuners. Many of you who read articles or watched YouTube videos on this topic might have interpreted the 2028 and 2030 dates as set deadlines that are likely to become law. Will your current TV or DVR become obsolete in 3 years? Should we all start buying ATSC 3.0 set-top boxes? I don't think so. Even with Brennan Carr running things at the FCC, I don't see ATSC 1.0 being shut down in a matter of just 3 years for several reasons. The FCC does not have the authority to instantly make certain rule changes like this one. Without an act of Congress, a process has to take place, which I'm told is the following. First, a Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, or NPRM, is filed, which is what the NAB did. Following that is an internal review by the FCC where the proposal is either approved or denied. It will likely take several months alone for the FCC to respond to this. Assuming the proposition is approved, there will then be a public comment period which will include a discussion among various companies, organizations, and even consumers like you. Following the comment period comes a reply comment period in which issues are addressed before an official report and order by the FCC. The whole process may take a year or two, which would only leave about a year for TV manufacturers to put ATSC 3.0 tuners in their sets and to get them into the homes of consumers who use an antenna. I simply don't see that happening within the matter of a year or two, especially without a government-funded converter box coupon program. That's unlikely with the current administration and DOGE, which is cutting government spending, not increasing it. There's already opposition to the mandate of ATSC 3.0 tuners in TVs by the Consumer Technology Association, citing that it will increase the cost of all TVs for every consumer, despite the claim that less than 10% of Americans use an antenna to access local channels. The broadcast industry may even face a serious consequence of a 3.0 tuner mandate as well. If the FCC forces TV manufacturers to include ATSC 3.0 tuners in their sets without provisions to limit patent royalty and DRM certification costs, some TV manufacturers may stop including TV tuners in their sets entirely and simply make smart monitors with Roku, Google, or Fire TV OS. This would result in less TVs that can physically access over-the-air TV, meaning less people watching local TV. With the competition of streaming services, local broadcast TV has to be made as easy to access as possible in order to stay relevant, not harder. Otherwise, the medium will be mostly abandoned and on life support within a decade like AM radio. Getting back on track, even if everything goes the NAB's way at the FCC, I do not see ATSC 1.0 being shut down for at least another 5 years. 3 years is simply not enough time to get 3.0 tuners into TVs and in the homes of most Americans that use an antenna, especially when there's serious opposition and no government-funded converter box coupon program. If you enjoy watching free over-the-air TV on your current ATSC 1.0 enabled TV or DVR, it should continue to work for at least another 5 years, maybe even longer. At the end of the day, local TV stations hold a broadcast license and are obligated to operate in the public interest. I don't believe that ATSC 3.0 with DRM encryption is in the public interest, so we need to make that clear when the comment period takes place. In the meantime, contact your elected officials and urge them to protect free over-the-air TV by prohibiting DRM encryption on TV broadcasts that are supposed to be free and open to the public on any device. In the best case scenario, DRM encryption will put restrictions on DVR recordings and limit what types of devices can be used to access free over-the-air TV. In the worst case scenario, broadcasters can use a less robust PLP to significantly reduce their broadcast coverage or charge to access their channels. This proposal to shut down ATSC 1.0 is a last-ditch effort by the NAB and ATSC 3.0 cheerleaders to get this anti-consumer TV standard forced into the market. The whole thing has done very poorly on its own with consumer adoption, likely related to DRM limitations, lack of network tuners, and the overall high price of ATSC 3.0 enabled TVs and set-top boxes. Broadcasters have not given consumers a good reason to adopt ATSC 3.0. Upconverted 1080p and fake HDR aren't enough to get consumers to spend $150 on a set-top box or $1,000 on a new TV. What would get people on board is if TV stations used robust PLPs to expand the coverage of their broadcast signals as a way to help people with reception problems in weak signal areas, but for some reason, they are not doing that. In fact, some TV stations are doing the exact opposite, reducing the coverage of their 3.0 broadcast signals by putting their channels on a less robust PLP in favor of datacasting. In plain English, they are making their signal worse in favor of reserving bandwidth for datacasting services, which in turn makes it harder for people to access their local channels. Side note, I consider myself an early adopter of new technology. Most times it really excites me. In 2021, I purchased a first-generation Motorola Razr 5G flip phone, knowing it wasn't perfected, but it was awesome. The same year, I purchased the HD Home Run Flex 4K to try ATSC 3.0, which many of you saw in older videos of mine. I'm currently in the market for a new TV and have zero interest in purchasing one that's ATSC 3.0 or next-gen enabled because it costs 3 times as much as a low-priced TCL or Hisense smart TV that works just as well. Thanks to DRM encryption on ATSC 3.0, I can't use an HD Home Run to access local channels on all the devices I use now. This whole thing is literally 1 step forward and 3 steps back. If someone like me isn't interested in ATSC 3.0, the industry has a serious problem with consumer adoption of this new TV standard, and it deserves to fail. Forcing it to the market when the market does not want it might result in the downfall of broadcast TV, as many people may choose to abandon the medium over spending hundreds of dollars on new equipment to keep watching The View and reruns of Seinfeld. Rest assured that you can continue to use your existing TV or DVR to access local channels by antenna for probably another 5 years. Don't feel obligated to purchase an ATSC 3.0 tuner, as there aren't many benefits at this time, especially considering it will take years for this proposal to become law. I'll keep everyone posted if and when the FCC opens public comment. Understand that there will be opposition from smaller broadcast groups, TV manufacturers, the Consumer Technology Association, and millions of consumers like you who want to watch and record local channels from an antenna on the devices of your choice without restrictions. In the meantime, follow my link in the description of the video to locate and contact your elected officials. Because if ATSC 3.0 is mandated without consumer protections against DRM encryption or weaker broadcast signals from TV stations using less robust PLPs in favor of datacasting, some of you will go from this to this, or worse, this.